Welcome to Therate. My name is Katie, and I'm with Ashley, and we are here to provide a therapist perspective on Taylor's musical mental health themes. We are not therapy, but we do hope you enjoy our conversation. Ashley, can you share with us your general impressions and themes of the Tortured Poets Department?
I would love nothing more, Katie. Are you ready for this?
Bring it on.
Okay. So, the Tortured Poets Department, when I found out it was coming out, I was like, okay, is this going to be a Midnight's Evermore mix type thing? And I feel like that's kind of what we got musically.
Hmm.
I feel like this is a very confessional, long, poetic album. And
Hmm.
it took me like weeks to take it all in because there are so many things to like put together and puzzle pieces and there's so much to interpret and it really felt like poetry to me.
Yes.
So yeah, those were my initial impressions and I think generally kind of surprised about like some of the content of the songs. I think she tells more in this album, like is more vulnerable than she maybe has ever been, which is really interesting. But the themes that I noticed also were interesting. And I I feel like there was a lot of like people are calling me crazy. There's a lot of like thoughts of like, I want to kill this person. I want to die. Like there was a lot there. There was boundaries with fans, which I feel like
Hmm.
fair, probably
Yes.
deserved, and also hurt me a little bit.
Got you in your feels.
I was like, oh, I mean, I know that Taylor's a human and she has every right. But it also was like, oh, I didn't realize that that was happening for you, like on the other side, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and then emotional masking also. We see that in songs with like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, which we're going to be covering. I'm excited about that. And a couple of other ones too that I was like, ooh, girl, like there is a lot we could be talking about if we were in therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
about you,
without a doubt.
Katie?
Yeah, agree with all of that. One of my first impressions was this is long. Like there's so much here. A little overwhelming, to
Yeah.
be honest. I think I wasn't quite sure how to take it in at first because there's so much. Do I just listen to it and not read the lyrics? Do I read the lyrics as I listen to it? Like where do I start a little bit? Um, I think that another impression I had was the same as you. It just felt very much like a diary. And I was surprised by like the hyperbole, like how much drama there is in the album with this is how I feel, like I want to kill you. It feels like I'm dying, like I can't handle this anymore. Like just all of the emotions felt like they were dialed up to like 100 level. And I thought that was also unique to this album. Taylor's never been shy about being in her feelings, but just felt like another intimate level. There was a darkness to it as well, which is kind
Yeah.
of like in the marketing. There's a moodiness. There's like this is happening in the middle of the night, kind of. But to me, it felt more so that way than even Midnights, which like the entire like theme of Midnights is at midnight, in the middle of the night in darkness. But this somehow felt darker to me in some ways and more mature. Like this is not a little girl album, in my opinion. This is
Oh, yeah.
definitely for adults. Everything that gets discussed in
For so
this,
many reasons.
for so many reasons, I was like, oh, this is not for her younger fans. Like, there's
Yeah.
maybe like two or three songs that I would be like, yeah, I could see a younger audience really enjoying that song, but it didn't have any big hits or bops either. That I thought. I mean, now that I've listened to it, I've kind of changed my mind on that a little bit, but I don't think there was any like obvious huge single to me. Even though singles were released, it didn't feel like there was anything that like really stood out as like a blank space banger or I could shake it off or anything like
Hmm.
that. So
Yeah.
in regards to themes, um, anger and heartbreak were very loud things that shouted out to me. The way that she pushed back on fans, like where her anger was directed was like um kind of unique to this album. She hasn't really addressed that through her music, into like certain details of the relationship in this album, like that I thought was really interesting. So like you said, a vulnerability that was brought forward. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, Ashley, I'm curious, what lyric do you think on this album describes you best?
Okay, Katie, we're going to get into it a little bit because the lyric comes from a song that we're actually going to be covering. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how you've been preparing for this, but I've been watching the lyric videos because I wanted to see the actual words. Um, and so I'm going to tell you the lyric, and then I want to tell you what the lyric video did because it changed things for me.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. So the lyric is they say that not everything is about me, but what if it is?
But what if it is?
And I think for Taylor, the way that she is saying that is different from how it relates to me, right? Like for her, it's like the gossip the whole world knows about her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how I'm viewing it for me. I'm viewing it more like those things that keep you up at night. Like, I hope that nobody else is thinking about that super embarrassing moment that I had, or like,
Mm-hmm.
the anxiety runs deep sometimes. So that's the one that I'm like, okay, I feel like, yeah, what if it is? What if they did? What if? Let's go there.
What if? This is
So
3 a.m., Ashley.
exactly. Yeah, 3 a.m. edition, Ashley. So the lyric video has like, okay, they say that not everything is about me, and then what if it is? And then everything goes away except it is. And I was broken. I was,
This is
I
the
don't know.
worst possible thing that could have been said to you about your anxiety. It actually is true. Every terrible thought you've had, it's true.
That's exactly right. So then the next one is they say they didn't do it to hurt me, but what if they did? And then the same thing happens in that one. Everything goes away and then it just shows they did. And it's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?" So, anyway, that's the lyric that I feel like describes me sometimes.
Sometimes the 3 a.m. version.
How about you, Katie? What lyric describes you?
So my lyric is from the song The Prophecy. There's a lot about this song that I really love, but one of my favorite lyrics is, or one I think that describes me is, a greater woman stays cool, but I howl like a wolf at the moon. I love this so much. The mental image I have is just this wild feral woman who is absolutely losing it, and there's comfort in like losing it. Like maybe somebody stronger or better than me could like stay cool under this, but like I can't. And I love the full bringing your full emotions and bringing your full self into this moment and saying, "Hey, I'm not cool about it. I'm angry or I'm sad and I'm in it. I'm
Hmm.
fully in it. And so if I'm gonna howl at the moon, I'm gonna do that." And I just that lyric is just so fun for me, and I think it's maybe something that describes me as I've become more comfortable with owning my emotions.
Hmm. Okay, I love that because one of the words that you use to describe yourself is
Feral.
the amount of memes I get on Instagram of feral animals drinking pumpkin spice lattes, like just like I love that about you, and I aspire to be that someday.
Oh
Just being
wow.
like,
I feel
this
so
is
complimented.
happening. I love it. And can we talk about your therapist shirt that you wear sometimes?
Oh, yes, yes. I have a shirt with a possum on it that says,
The horrors
oh,
persist, but so do I.
the horrors persist, but so do I. I was like, got confused for a second. I was like, wait, does it say feral on? I don't think so. So thank you for filling that in. But yes, that is one of my favorite shirts to wear. No matter what happens in our life, we come out the other side. And if that is not therapy in a nutshell, I don't know what is.
I love that. So good. Yeah, it doesn't say feral, but I feel like it describes feralness, the way that the possum has its little mouth open. You know how it goes.
It's hysterical. Listeners, if you're watching, I will wear that shirt on one of our episodes and then you can see it for yourself.
I love that. Please do. Maybe we can post it on our Instagram too.
Absolutely. Well, Ashley, can you tell us what your 3 songs are that you're gonna cover, and then I'll share what my 3 songs are?
Yes. So this actually turned out to be a really hard decision for me. So I listed out like all of the songs that we could potentially talk about with this, and the list was huge. And I feel like technically we probably could do every single song on the album. But listeners, when I brought that idea up to Katie, she literally fell to the ground, which is totally fair because there are 31. So I was able to find a way to bring them down to three. So the first one I want to talk about it is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. We're going to talk about why in our actual song episodes. So this is just our list for now, but I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And then Fortnite featuring Post Malone. And then So Long London. How about you, Katie? Which three did you choose?
Yes, so my top 3 are Clara Bow, I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can, and Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Yeah, I am so excited. I feel like this is a good time also to let our listeners know that they can request songs. So if those 6 songs are not ones that you're really that interested in, or there's one in particular that you're like, okay, no, you guys missed the mark on this one. We need to hear this one too. You can email us at theratepodcast@gmail.com and we will take your requests seriously. So send them over. And we're also making a Spotify playlist so that you can easily access those songs for doing your own homework for this podcast. Anything else you want to say about this album before we wrap up, Katie?
I think that's it. I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're happy that you're here. Join us as we dive next into Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. Thank you again to Jeremy for editing this podcast.
Bye.
Bye.